Collective, look how far you've come since 2018 and 2019. Look at you, how much you have changed on the outside and the inside. Who is your true, authentic self? Who actually tried to tell you who you can and cannot be? So, Chiron is an asteroid, and its energy that it does powerfully pack is an energy of causing a wound that makes us rise above and become a warrior. Alright, so we had Chiron in Aries enter there around 2019. So I'm asking you, what happened around 2019? What happened in 2019? Thank you for the confirmation, Spirit. What happened in 2019? Something that hit your identity. Some sort of wound. Okay? Alright, it was come there to like trigger something inside of you. It could be a childhood wound. Something about your identity. The way you take action, the way you show up, the way you look on this planet. It was triggered in 2018, 2019 for sure. We've been in this cycle with Chiron in Aries, which is your identity, your self-worth, fire sign, who you are as an individual. It's been in that sign since a bit now. It's going to wrap it up in 2027. All right, so something big's going to happen. Confirmation. Something big is going to happen when Saturn and Neptune align in Aries on February the 20th. They call it a big reset. It's like the first time in 2,000 years. I've been hearing all kinds of numbers. Reset. Ace of Pentacles. All right. Something brand new coming in. A brand new opportunity. Something tangible coming in. Okay. But anyway, the thing is that the opportunity looks very much like looking at your identity and like standing up for what you believe in, what your values are, what your belief systems are, and stuff like that, you know. So Neptune's energy, you need to know, is naturally in its natural habitat, loves Pisces, which is a water sign. Very dreamy, very creative, very spiritual. On the positive side. On the downside, maybe a little illusional, disillusional, or prone to escapism. Okay, so these are the energies. We're just talking about the energies we're dealing with right now, okay? It's important we talk about it because of the fact that Neptune just entered into Aries. The last time it was in this area of our energy spheric field was in around 1870 to 75, which was the Civil War. Okay, so you will hear lots of talk about the Civil War right now. You will hear talk about women's rights, because that was a big topic. The 13th and the 14th Amendment was a big topic. The NRA was brought into place for gun rights to help you protect yourself against totalitarianism and dictatorships of government. That's the reason for it. It was supposed to be, at least. All right, I'm not here on any political side. I'm talking about history, where we were in history. We were talking about immigration. We were talking about women's rights. We're still talking about the same topic. Still talking about the same topic. This was back in the late 1800s. The civil rights movement, slavery, things like that, prejudice, all that shit. Excuse my language. Well, it's right here again, and we're still dealing with these things. We're all still ancestry, healing ancestral wounds, identity wounds, and things like that, okay? Well, the good thing is that the energy is calling us to be healed. It's calling us to, you know, rest in the fact, rest in the knowledge, rest in the fact that we have our truth, we have our sword of truth, and our ancestors, they have gone before us with the Three of Swords and experienced that heartbreak. We don't have to experience that heartbreak again. We can learn from our ancestors. You know, and we are in a healed position. We should be grateful. We are very grateful, ancestors. Thank you for showing up in this reading. All right, the energies of this is long term. It's generational. That's why we have to talk about it. This is going to be impacting your life and you know, others around you for many years. It's going to be in the sign of Aries until around 2038, I believe. So, you know, 14, 15 years, but the energy of where it's at, I'm not an astrologer, I'm not perfect. I'm picking up on how the energy is affecting us. So it's moving us out of this dreamy state into an active state. You have fire and ice. Fire and ice, you have Neptune in Pisces, which is water, moving into a fire sign, Aries, which is activation and taking passionate action, okay? Aries is a warrior, Aries is a fire sign, Aries moves, Aries is fire. So you're going to be dealing with a more passionate energy, and so it's going to cause us to feel spiritually activated. When you take those dreams, ideas of who you have identified yourself as and actually embracing it. Okay, it is a collective shift from passively dreaming, and it is into building a new reality based on a personal conviction of integrity. So we're moving on into a healed state and embracing a new way of perceiving. This is Hangman, Pisces energy. Neptune's moving out of Pisces. You know, we've seen everything we need to see here. Okay, we've done the work on dreaming the dream. And, you know, Pisces energy can be a little aloopy sometimes. Just, you know, happy-go-lucky. But Aries wants to take accountability and makes change. Aries wants to activate. Aries wants to start a fire. Aries wants to get in a fight. Aries is that kind of energy. And so this is what I'm seeing. We need to stay very super grounded right now. Seven of Swords coming out here. There is a strategy in how to navigate through this energy. Okay? And so we need to have it because these are changing times, you know. Some of you guys might take your toys and run and escape now because this is a different shift. You're going to be seeing people who are going to be stepping up and embracing their identity and in their power. You may not love it or you may love it. I don't know. But one thing I would say, because it has to do with spirituality, is that I'm seeing a lot of cults, religious cult leaders rising up. So I don't know. You guys take that as it resonates. All right. But there is a strategy involved here, you know. There's an old way of doing things that no longer align. Seven of Swords is also an energy of self-deceit. You know, like you don't really identify with a belief system, but you just go along for the kicks and the shits and the giggles and to keep the peace kind of thing. Like, you know, no. Aries energy, it wants to go talk about it. They want to fight about it. They want to bring change. They want to do this and that, you know, which is good because it brings in a collective shift and a change. We need that fire up our ass. However, we need to stay balanced because we don't want to become the victim of these changes, okay? We have a lot of lessons here that we've already learned. There is more lessons to learn about the way of doing business, the way we interact with others, you know. We start the reading with the Ace of Pentacles and we end the reading with the Page of Pentacles. The message is about being rooted and grounded. You're going to need it because, you know, Pisces is, I'm so sorry, excuse me, Neptune, which is the natural ruler of Pisces. Okay, that's why I said that. Pisces is a water sign, and Aries is the fire sign, so it's fire and ice, baby. It's truly fire and ice, okay? Messages, what's going on here? Saturn and Neptune are doing some sort of reset. What is that going to look like? February the 20th of 2026, there's an alignment, there's a ring of fire, there's a solar eclipse on the 17th in Aquarius. What does this energy look like? Thank you. We have the King of Pentacles coming in here. They're saying you need to stay very rooted and very grounded. Okay. Don't stress, don't worry for the rest of your days. Why am I hearing? It's our problem-free philosophy. Hakuna Matata. I'm hearing Lion King. Be brave, be bold, courageous. Sit on your throne, sit in power. Don't be moved, don't be shaken for what you see. Okay, it could be quite entertaining to watch, actually. That's what I'm hearing. All right, Capricorn, Taurus, Virgo energy. Standing in your authority and power, I'm hearing. It's funny. Akuma Matata. Oh, that's great. Page of Swords. Okay, you might see some shocking news, hear some shocking messages. Can't believe your ears. Oh, can't believe somebody said this or said that, you know. You can't believe that people are stepping up and actually voicing their truth. Get ready for that quiet person that never really said anything or kept everything to themselves, probably like when Jeremy spoke in class today. That might be kind of scary, actually. Pearl Jam song. Jeremy spoke in class today. Well, we're healing identity wounds. That's the energy of this reading. No longer lying to ourselves, saying things from a different perspective, allowing ourselves to change, our belief systems to change, our spirituality to change, our values to change. We're not the same. Four Cups, what is for your ancestors might not be necessarily for you, just like times change with fads and clothing styles. It's the same thing. Bell bottoms. They'll come back soon, Grandma. Don't worry. They're on their way. I promise you. The 70s are already starting to show up with their avocado green commercials. I saw them the other day. They're coming back. Don't worry. Time always repeats itself. Everybody gets their turn to be remembered. Okay? We're not trying to be disrespectful. Okay? We have a Ten of Swords here. Ten of Swords is like the end. But it's the end of the world as we know it. It is the reset. Some people are going to be feeling like you're betraying them, like, you betray me. Why, God, why? All of a sudden you don't believe in Santa Claus anymore. You betrayed Santa Claus. How can you not believe in Santa Claus anymore, you guys? I'm being funny. I'm being cute. I'm being sarcastic. Because it's like, that's how shocking these changes of belief systems are going to look for some people. Total transformations, people coming out of the closets. And I'm just going to go ahead and wrap up this reading at 12 minutes and some odd seconds to say I've been focusing on this energy of Neptune moving into Aries for the past few hours. I'm going to continue to do more. The Chiron wounded warrior that came in like as a second aspect to the energy of my reading. The third aspect is that I was born with Chiron in Aries, which is a wound to my identity, which is a big deal for me to put myself out here in my spirituality, being raised in a traditional Christian cult that doesn't appreciate this sort of astrology or divination or self-healing practices. Okay, and I'm going to close the reading at 13 seconds. I'm closing, I promise. I've been in a bit of a spiritual battle last week or two. Been listening to some people who were witches and they were in the occult. They had these visitations from Jesus. Suddenly they see things from a different perspective, and they're going through a change and transformation. And I'm listening to their testimonies, and I love it because I love Jesus. I love the Holy Spirit. I love my guides. I love my angels. I love all of my ancestors, my friends, everybody there. I was raised Christian my whole entire life. I was raised in the prophetic works of divination in a different form. It was done through discernment and the acts of the Spirit, prophecy. It's all done by familiar spirit is what I'm getting down to, is that I've come to realize that it's all a familiar spirit. And in the Bible they tell you do not consult with familiar spirits, but I'm like, I've been consulting with familiar spirits my whole life at the church. I've been told that the leadership is the only one that can hear God, and then I put all my trust and my faith into them for years, and everything they said I did. So I was putting myself under their belief systems and their curses, and sometimes I found myself that they were wanting to just use me and control me and put me in their leadership teams and hold on to me forever, and I realized that wasn't my calling. So I'd always get pulled off. I'd always get pulled off out of these places and these churches and these belief systems, and I'd always feel lost and wandering, and I didn't understand why I didn't feel like I fit in anywhere. Now it makes sense. Now it makes sense to me, because it's like, yes, I'm here, I am your guide and you towards the one. But I don't ever want to become a substitute for the voice of God in your head and who you answer to in the end. I'm just here as a guide, a friend. I want to be a friend. I want to be that kind of guide. I don't want to be the person that tells you what to say, what to do. That has to be your choice, always, whatsoever. I'll never tell you this and that are true. This is always up to you. But you know what? I can give you my perspectives. I can give you my guidance. I can tell you what the cards are telling me. I can give you this and that. But the truth comes down to you in the end. You have to be the one that answers the call. of God on your life. By healing these identity wounds, you'll be able to do that. So, I do some personal readings. I don't do a lot of personal readings. If you're interested in one, reach out to me. I'll let you know if I'll do that reading. I'll have to make a judgment call on that as it comes and goes, but I'll start and have second thoughts about it. I don't mind being a guide, but I want to guide you to the truth. I want to guide you to self-freedom. I want to guide you to be connected to where you can hear God yourself. Because Jesus said, my sheep hear my voice. They hear me and they follow me. And I'm just here to help you get connected. Building bridges and connections. Something that we can agree on is that, you need guidance in your life. You need to know what to do, what to say, where to go, and how to get there. And, we all need a good friend on our side, right? So this is the spiritual warrior. This is the path of the spiritual warrior. This is the energy of the, Neptune and Aries for the next 14, 15 years. This is the focus. I'm planning on business, strategizing all around it. Also, this is generational energy. There's also some generational energy going on with Uranus and Gemini. I'll be doing some more research and readings on that as well, as I promised in the past. That's what I love to do, the astrology, the numerology. I'm here to make change. I'm not here just to pacify and talk about gossip. It gets on my nerves, to be honest with you. I get bored with it really quick. That's why I disappear sometimes. When I disappear, I'm going into books. I'm studying about astrology. I'm studying about why this, why that, how does this planet affect me? Well, where is it affecting me at? Is it in my home, or is it my work, or is it my personal identity, or has it got something to do with my partnerships? What's going on in my life? How can I best navigate this thing called life? And that's what I'm here for. That's what I want to be here for. It is my motto here for 2026. I want to say 27 as well. It is January 27th, 2026. I saw that 27 on my calendar there just now, and I was like, 27s. We're off to the races in 2026, but you ain't going to see the flame and that fire that's going to be left behind, that trail that's been blazed until 2027. Get ready. I'm here. I'm ready. Let's go. Thank you for joining me. It is a fool's journey. It is stepping off onto a new path, You don't always see exactly where you're going. You don't always know if you have your footing. But you're going to have some trust here, is that, the Wheel of Fortune showing up more being focused on and fixed on the truth of using intellect, being grounded, being courageous, and holding on to our true values, and ready to change whenever it's time to make a change, fixed and made for it. Because, Ten of Cups is here as well, showing up in our reading. Come on, y'all. Come on. Does it look any prettier than that in our reading? The Fool is walking right into a whole new world with the Wheel of Fortune, the Ten of Cups, the best card in the deck, with the King of Swords, and Judgment here. Judgment meaning you're going to make head over heart decisions, making good judgment calls, being actionate. Here's this fire sign. Here's the Aries energy, the King of Wands. Aries, Leo, Sagittarius, using your intuition on when to take action and when to hold back, Head over. Perfect example. King of Wands and King of Swords is the perfect example of Neptune energy in Aries. I like it because this brings a balance to, thinking before we take action. Because the King of Wands, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius, Aries in particular, wants to take action. They get, restless. They can be, let's go, let's start a fire. But then the King of Swords is like, let's use some wisdom here. Let's wait. Let's think things through. Let's reason together. And so this is this beautiful energy of fire and ice. So Neptune and Aries, fire and ice, the next several years. So generational energy. Get ready for, a major shift and transformation in all the people around you. Allow them the opportunity and the grace to change, if you would, please. That would be wonderful. All right, until next time, my loves. I said I was only going to be here till 12, 13 minutes, and I've done rambled on another 20. So I'll let y'all go until next time, y'all. Love you very much. I'll be back around. I'm doing okay. Just want to check in.